Hi, folks. Welcome again to Ask the Experts. This is Hadoken's Ask the Experts with David Horlock and Stacey Fasani, people who've managed companies right across the Asia Pacific. So you're getting top CEO intellect right now as we deal with a topic David loves so much, the leaking bucket syndrome. Now, David, what brought you to this leaking bucket syndrome and how have you used it as you've managed so many organizations right across the Asia Pacific?
Well, Lee, I learned about the leaky bucket syndrome as an agronomist and an animal production specialist. In my younger days, we had to optimize yield per hectare, per unit of feed, whatever it may have been. And it was called the ICI barrel approach. And the barrel approach was about prioritizing the critical aspects of a menu or a recipe to optimize production. And there are many risk tools out there like HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, Failure Mode Effect Analysis, and risk versus impact likelihood matrices that many of us are familiar with. What I love about the leaking bucket syndrome is its visualness and the simplicity of sharing that with your cohort or a group of people in solving a problem. And the basic philosophy is that it's not just about plugging the holes in the bucket. It's about plugging the holes at the bottom of the bucket, moving up to the top. Because if you don't do that, your water level does not rise. And water level could be yield, it could be productivity, it could be profitability, it could be any aspect of the problem that you're trying to solve. So Lee, in summary, it's visualness, right? And that engages the community and the people to solve the problem and have the discussion, the debate about how do we best prioritize our issues, irrespective of what the problem is we're trying to solve.
Fantastic. And of course, I've got that picture right here so people can see what you're talking about. As you say, you want to solve the problem that's at the bottom of the bucket, not at the top. In other words, you can solve the problem, but you can solve the right problem at the wrong time. Stacey, how does this relate to finance and your work in the financial world?
Well, this is also a great visual for finance. Naturally being a finance person, when I see the leaking bucket, I picture all your revenue going in at the top, all your resources, and then everything leaking out. And, business without profit means nothing. So you're spinning your wheels for nothing, basically. Generally, on the finance side, I'll go in, I'll perform a full finance function evaluation, identify where the key leaks are. So these could be things like DSO, your days of sales outstanding. Maybe you're not getting your invoices paid quickly enough. Maybe there's problems with the cash flow. Maybe there is not a strong enough partnership between finance and operations, which is key. Finance should really be a business partner to operations. So those are just a couple of the common problems that I see. But the whole idea is really to find out where the key problematic areas are. So you're focusing on those, not spreading your resources too thin and having the biggest impact.
Fantastic. And of course, this relates to sales, whether it be the leaking bucket when it comes to conversion rate, the leaking bucket when it comes to average dollar sale. Are we actually presenting all the options? The leaking bucket when it comes to follow up with leads, the leaking bucket when it comes to account management. Are we really working the account? So there's a whole range of areas in the area of sales, let alone sales training and sales coaching, where we know that if people do no sales coaching or poor quality sales coaching, that there's going to be leakage in the money spent on sales training. So there's a whole range of areas here that if you are serious about growing your business, that the leaking bucket becomes a really powerful model to use in the language. So David, to sum up, how does this impact you?
Well, Lee, it's just a wonderful tool that's extremely agile and versatile. And I think, you and Stacey gave some really good examples of how that applies to sales, how it applies to finance. And it can apply to all the critical business drivers out there, whether it's about culture, whether it's about behavior, whether it's about sales attrition, whether it's about sales staff attrition, whether it's about, customer and client attrition. You can apply this to any single aspect of business. Just get the right people and the stakeholders around that are responsible for that subject matter we're talking about, and you'll get amazing outcomes.
Fantastic. So if you're a C-suite leader who wants to engage, learn, and grow with leaders who've been where you are heading, learn from people who've covered multiple regions, cultures, real world experience, and have high impact results. You can get that in one powerful session. You can tap into the three of us, 108 years of expertise in a 90-minute executive advisory power panel. It's your session where we help you brainstorm bold ideas. You'll gain second opinion from all three of us. We'll help you innovate and fast track problem solving with proven techniques we've used right across Asia. You'll get actionable insights that really will have an impact on your bottom line. Now, we only do 2 or 3 of these sessions a month, so apply now. The details are on the landing page. We guarantee you're going to get high impact results in a very results-driven call. David, Stacey, thanks very much.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks, Stacey.